Anamoah. You've seen the artwork all through the week, last week, over the weekend. Star Chat is back permanently on this channel. So, as I said on social media, you are better off listening to me Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. because I'll be bringing you all of those exciting conversations. My guest tonight was once a powerful man whose words made heads roll. Some said his domineering influence made him the political heartbeat of Ghana's former president, the late John Fifi Atta Mills, of blessed memory. 5 years ago, at the crack of midnight, when the nation awaited the results of the 2016 presidential elections, he declared the NDC is in a comfortable lead. But the results subsequently told a different story, a story you all know. His next big politically controversial statement, history will repeat itself, landed him in the CID cooler. And since then, his political whirlwind speeches have toned down, or, if you like to put it, even changed. As I speak, the former Deputy Secretary General has been suspended by the NDC, pending his appearance before the disciplinary committee over his social media comments, which continue unabated after the decision to place his membership on ice. So, what is he up to now? And have all these marker political moments in the rear view left him with a new outlook on his life in the drudge political ring? The man born on this day, Wednesday, Samuel Koku Anyidoho, former presidential spokesperson and founder and CEO of the Atta Mills Institute, is my guest on the award-winning personality show, Star Chart. I'm Nana Aba Anamoah. Welcome and good evening to you, and a special good evening to Bolare, whom I have happily retired from this show. Koku, you're welcome.
Thank you, Nana. Quite an elaborate intro.
You liked it, didn't you?
Well, at least I like the song that preambled the intro. Being a star.
Yeah?
You know, I think I'm a star.
You are a star.
So I'm on Starr FM.
You're a Starr FM, exactly. And you're launching the comeback of Star Chat for us.
Wow.
How have you been?
Well, by the kind grace of God, I'm well. I'm well. And it's good to see you again.
Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long while.
Yeah,
since our last interview. Our famous interview, huh?
Actually, about 4 years ago, eh?
Yeah.
Exactly 4 years ago.
Exactly
2017.
Yeah, it's been a while.
State of the Nation.
Yes.
Yeah. So 4 years I just come and gone like that.
Yes.
And it's great to be back.
Yeah,
to be back on this Star Chat and to help it come back alive. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to be associated.
Absolutely.
And it's good to be here.
As we're speaking now, there are some teams playing. You are a football fanatic.
Oh, yes.
Before we get into the European leagues and others, I just want you to tell us how you felt over the weekend, just a couple of days ago, when Ghana once again came home with a trophy. Something we've been looking forward to for a long time. Of course, we've been looking for it from the Black Stars. But if the younger teams are producing it, we are exceedingly happy and equally excited about it.
Actually, let me say good evening to your listeners, your viewers worldwide and in Ghana. And I think that it's really proper that we send a salute to them before we start. Yes, the under 20. Yeah. It just reminded me of President Mills. And that is where I think that people don't seem to understand why I can't stop talking about President Mills. And we're going to have that chat.
Yes.
In fact, today I've come to the studio prepared like Okubako.
You have so
many documents. I mean, I've never done this before. This is the first time I'm walking to studio with documents, but I think that it's about time that the documents start coming out. So, if you talk about that football thing, the black satellite, I think in the first year of President Mills' term, the same thing. This is the picture. Yeah, President Atta Mills with victorious black satellites under 20 squad. This is it. This was, I think, 2009, when Dede Ayew and his colleagues did the glorious for the nation. So when I saw President Akufo-Addo congratulate them at the Flagstaff House, the seat of government, for me, deja vu.
Yeah.
It was something that came back to me with a gush. And I'm like, wow. I mean, it happened under President Mills. We were all excited because President Mills himself was a football enthusiast and a sports administrator par excellence. I hear the current president also was a football player. In fact, they apparently played together on the Legon Hall team when both he and President Mills were students of Legon Hall. So maybe something that they are passionate about brings blessings to them. And so President Mills got his blessing. President Akufo-Addo has gotten his blessing. So for me, it's excitement for the nation. I mean, like you're saying, we haven't won. Yes, we haven't won anything in a while. Yes. And in this period of COVID and all the uncertainty of our collective human existence, I think that what the gentleman did, and of course
on Independence Day, imagine
Independence Day, and of course with my biases, a Hearts of Oak player happens to be the captain.
So, you're a Hearts of Oak fan.
Oh yes, yes. Oh yes.
I support Olympics. Accra Girls Olympics, the biggest team in Ghana.
You have to be very controversial to support Olympics.
It makes us unique.
Well, I guess so.
Yeah.
So I think that we are happy on the football side, and kudos to Coach Karim Zito and the entire team.
They absolutely did something right from the get-go. But of course, we are very excited. But imagine if the Black Stars were to do this for Ghana after over 3 decades.
You know, if you ask me, because I did a lot of sports punditing before I mainstreamed. Of course, I was doing pari passu. And so people actually think that maybe I was a sports journalist. I was never a sports journalist, but I used to write heavily and copiously for my newspaper at the time, the Ghanaian Lens. And I recall one time Professor Wuno confessing to me, the late, that he was anti-football until he started reading my articles on football and just loved the prose with which I wrote those articles. And for me, the Ghana Black Stars, people may like it or not, but I believe that whatever happened to us in Senegal 92 has eaten into the very fabric of the national team, how we're going to work out of what happened in Senegal, how Kwesi Appiah was just taken out as captain of the national team with the reason that he doesn't speak French. Some of us just couldn't believe it. I mean, so every player must speak some language. And then the things that happened on the field of play, when our captain at the time, Abedi Pele, had to leave the field because he had been red carded. Everybody knew that Tony Yeboah was the deputy captain. Then suddenly, the captain's band is given to Tony Bafo, who was just new in the blocks, and it has just gone on and gone on and gone on. And I remember again the same President Mills, and the pictures are here. I mean, in 2010,
he came with documents.
Well, oh no,
pictorial evidence,
you see,
and all.
As we go into the conversation, Nana Aba, I've had to do this for the very reason that there's this song that others have labored for, and we share the glory. But I think that I have labored for people to take my glory.
Who has?
For too long. No, I'm just saying that, and I'm speaking, generally.
Okay.
So let me begin to tell the Koku Anyidoho story.
Right.
For people to know what I actually did for President Mills, did for the NDC, did for myself.
What is the Koku Anyidoho story?
Now, this book that you are seeing, or this picture book, is named The Journey. This is a book compiled to give a picture story of the life of President Mills. Now, this book, as you see, number of pages, from beginning to the end, Koku Anyidoho personally, it has a state emblem.
Yes.
But this is my personal work. I belong to a committee, all right. There was a funeral committee, but there's a subcommittee on communications and publications. This is Koku Anyidoho's personal work. But the committee will take the glory. But
you worked as a team.
Don't worry, but I produced this.
Okay.
It's my concept, my idea from beginning to the end. I had to travel to Cape Coast to go and get pictures from the family of the late president, from his late sister in particular, Mrs. Afo. May her good soul rest in peace. She passed on recently, and we shall be laying her to rest, I think 19th, 20th of this month. Antiema, that's Prof's eldest sister. There were 6 siblings. She was the eldest. Professor Mills came second. Dr. Kadma Mills came third. 2 other sisters, and then a younger brother came. But so 6 of them. And these are the things that, Nana Aba, one did for God, for country, for the state. One should be getting...
You feel you're not being acknowledged?
Well, I'm just saying that I'm just saying that one should begin to let younger people know that there's reward in hard work, right, and that they shouldn't despair. You understand? So I'm beginning to walk that route of inspiring people, but you can only inspire them with evidence and documents for them to know that this is what you did for President Mills. If the man loved you and cherished what you were doing for him, it was because uniquely, among a whole group, you had something God gave you that you were using to the best of your ability. So this book, I did it like I said, and you will find that the same 2010 when we were in South Africa, we had qualified for the World Cup. The president was there. In fact, here's a picture of the president with Stephen Appiah. This was when they came to the castle, the Black Stars, and he was the captain then. For some strange reason, Stephen was taken ill. The president instructed that Stephen should be sent to the castle clinic immediately for first aid. And this is the president with our national colors around his neck, visiting Stephen Appiah, right, at the castle clinic.
He did love his sports.
Now, apart from that, he was a human being and had a heart. A heart which made those of us who worked for him, sacrifice and decided that, look, live or die, we wanted to work for the man. Right. But I'm making the point to stress the fact that we didn't just sit around him and gloat in his presidency.
Okay. I will definitely come back
we worked.
Well, I'll come to Professor Mills very soon because I would want you to talk about his legacy, but that will be a bit later. I want us to go back to sport. You support Arsenal.
Oh.
Why that sigh?
Tremendously so. Tremendously so. Arsenal, for the longest, if you go back to the days when Arsenal blossomed.
Highbury days.
The Highbury days, exactly, of George Graham, even before Wenger came in, and the days of, what's his name, Tony Adams, Nigel Winterburn, Lee Dixon, and that squad of people, and the cohesion with which they played. Then, of course, when Wenger came in, the imports started coming in, the Beckhams, the Nwankwo Kanos, then the French Revolution of the Thierry Henrys, and all those people who came in from I call it the French Revolution into the British game. Arsenal, for the longest, that North London club, used to give a lot of home to black players. When I see people support Chelsea today, for me it's like, oh yeah, the JJCs of British football.
JJC being Jerry Just Come.
Johnny Just Comes.
Johnny's
Just Come of British football because...
Latter-day Saints.
Because Chelsea, if you know the suburb of Chelsea, if things have changed now, I'm not too sure, but how many blacks were playing in Chelsea at the time? No, but Highbury was playing ground, Ian Wright and co. Go and ask them. So if only recently, because of Drogba and ACN and one or two people, and people are Chelsea.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with
Well,
it.
no, people have a right to change their minds. But I'm saying that for me, that space that Arsenal continue to give brothers, for me, and I will not stop loving Chelsea. Of course, these days, they become. And then last season, just to chichiri my rare, I decided to support Liverpool.
Oh dear!
And of course, they won the EPL. Of course, in an empty stadium. Then this year, the crowd is beginning to come back small. Yeah. Look at what they are doing to themselves. Maybe they don't want to win a trophy in the presence of a crowd. So, and they say they don't walk alone. Me too, I don't walk alone.
So you're going back.
So I've gone back to my Arsenal full time.
Okay, how has your love for Arsenal affected your ability to patiently wait for success? Because with Arsenal, you need a good heart to stay on and wait.
Well, but you support Olympics.
Well, yes, I do. I do. I don't support Olympics for the
Olympics is a for the, you don't support them for the trophies.
No.
Aha.
My love goes beyond the trophies.
So if Olympics even can have people who have a heart to support them, then those of us who are in Arsenal here, our hearts are, hearts of.
Let's go away from football. We celebrated our 64th.
Yes.
On Saturday.
Yes.
I mean, I saw a few quotes from you that day, on Independence Day. 64 years. How old were you when Ghana gained independence?
Oh, I wasn't born.
You were not born. So how old are you now?
I turned 50 in January.
Oh, belated happy birthday.
13 January, which is a significant day in Ghana's history. Talking about Ghana's independence, 13 January 1972 was the day Colonel Kutu Achampong led his military team to oust the Progress Party government of Professor Buzia and Mr. Edward Akufo-Addo's government. And so I was denied my first birthday celebration because I was born in 71 and 72, that thing happened. Of course, in Togo next door also, 13 Janvier was the day that, also 13 January, that the late Nyasingbe Adema also took out the government of the then and, made himself president of Togo. So I consider myself to be, like I said earlier on, that I'm unique. 13 January, those of us who were born on 13 January, come with that unique, there's something unique about that day. And I thank God that he gave me 13 January because it's a day that Ghanaians cannot forget.
I just want to read a tweet you put out on Independence Day. You said that, I have a very good feeling that after Ghana's 64th Independence Day anniversary, 6 March 2021, things shall get better for our dear motherland. The eagle is our bird, and Ghana shall fly as high as the eagle flies. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, Ghana will not die. I say amen to that. What exactly did you mean by things shall get better?
Wonderful. The president has just read his State of the Nation address. That is the first for his second term. Now, part of the things I used to do for President Mills was that I used to be his speech writer. I wrote all his speeches. State of the Nation address, I wrote them personally. Of course, you pick input and data across the divide. Now, this is a copy of the 2010 one. This is a copy of the 2012 one. 2009, 2010, 2011, 12. Samuel Koku Anyidoho. I wrote the State of the Nation address for President Mills. Humbly so, I put words in the mouth of the president. Now let me just read the tail end of the 2010 one. Now this is 2010. How many years ago? 11 years ago, good. So 11 years ago, this is what I wrote for the president to put out. This is conclusion. Madam Speaker, and I quote with your permission, Nana Aba. Madam Speaker, colleagues and friends, 10 years ago, when I first accepted the nomination as the NDC candidate for president, I made a public pledge. And that I give again to all of you now. 1, we will serve every Ghanaian without regard to ethnic origin, gender, religion, or political allegiance. We will strive to bring reconciliation and harmony throughout our country. We will be transparent in everything we do. We will continue to root out corruption of any kind, anywhere, anytime. We will only offer to the people what we firmly believe we can achieve. And our priorities will be to offer every Ghanaian, and especially our young people, education and opportunities for self-advancement. May I say now, Madam Speaker, because she was a woman, the Right Honorable Joyce Bamford Addo, the first female speaker. I'll finish the quote very soon. Madam Speaker, I also invite members of this House and all citizens of Ghana, whatever your political inclination, to join me in creating hope, opportunity, and peace of mind for our future together. No government, and certainly no political party, can carry our nation forward on its own. Political parties, businesses, and yes, the media should at least be partners in vision. And that's how we themed the thing.
Partners in vision.
Partners in vision. In an open democracy in which our people choose the way ahead and then work together to achieve it. Now, this is the last one. Hopefully. Not everything is political. The challenges that we face are challenges to every Ghanaian and not just to one political group, and definitely not exclusively to the government of the day, unquote. Nana Aba, so if 10 years, 11 years ago, this is what Koku Anyidoho wrote for the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Atta Mills. So 11 years down the line, I'm head of the Atta Mills Institute. And because I have written speeches for a president before, I do content analysis. I don't do empty propaganda. So if the president of the day talks about a Ghana project. And the Ghana project seems to sit within the ambit of the Better Ghana agenda of the president I served, mainly infrastructure expansion, job creation, a strong and resilient economy, and then what? Governance in an open, honest, transparent manner. I will be doing my conscience, my soul, my spirit a lot of disservice and harm if I pretend that 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I didn't allow the President of the Republic to say the same words.
Okay. So these words were echoed 11 years ago.
Exactly.
11 years forward,
yes,
we are still dealing with a lot of the issues you mentioned.
Wonderful.
Corruption, for instance.
Good.
Have we been able to deal with corruption?
No.
We are not close to eradicating corruption.
Certainly.
Yeah.
But Christ left the shores of human existence how many years ago? 2000 plus. The early apostles, Peter, Paul, John, and Co, they are gone. But the church and the Bible, the word, the spoken word, is not dead. Now, what we need to do, Nana Aba, and what we are doing at Atta Mills Institute with our mindset transformation agenda vis-a-vis civic education, public policy advocacy, is to go back to the word. You talked about the eagle. It's our national bird. What does the eagle signify? The eagle is a bird of prey. It's not a bird that fears anything. The eagle is able to take off its own feathers, hide somewhere for months, come back and to fly higher. What are we doing with that symbolic representation of the eagle? Nothing. It's on the coat of arms. Nothing.
Perfect reminder every day. Every day.
We say, God bless our homeland Ghana, make our nation great and strong, bold to be defend forever, the cause of freedom and of right. Who is defending which cause of freedom and which right?
I remember when President Mills was in office.
Yes.
His famous trip to SEPS.
Yes.
When that famous investigation had been published by Anas.
Yes.
And he appeared livid, appalled, totally upset with the level of corruption at SEPS. And it wasn't just SEPS. There were a number of institutions.
He went to the port. Yeah, okay. You mean, the port. They came to GRA, went to SEPS. Yeah.
You would think that all of these instances, cases, all of these would give Ghana a clue that indeed corruption is our bane. Corruption is staggering our development and things would have been done properly. I see you on Twitter tweeting quite a number of times, different things all the time.
I'm a man of many parts.
Yes, you become very famous on Twitter. You are the man to follow these days.
Well, I'm humbled.
Right. Have you said anything about Dome Level?
You see, no, my answer directly is no.
But you seem to comment on anything that comes up. Why are you picking and choosing what you comment on?
I'm not picking and choosing. Now, beyond Koku Anyidoho, I'm functioning also as the institute. On the Dome Level issue, many voices are already in there.
You can add yours.
Good point. Good point. Dome Level himself is also out there.
What do you think about the whole issue?
Well, those are issues that are being discussed as to how he had to go on leave and all those matters. This evening, I've seen this civil society coalition talk about it.
They call the way he left the Auditor General's office as ridiculous.
Because they have decided to follow it deeply, they can form that conclusive opinion.
And you haven't.
I've not followed it deeply.
So you have no thoughts?
Why don't I have thoughts?
But so what are your thoughts?
That
on the way he exited.
My thoughts, it's not about Dome Level. My thoughts are about fighting corruption in Ghana. Have you followed the Dome Level issue yourself deeply? As to what the real issues are?
I have.
What are the real issues?
I'm not here to answer questions. I'm asking you, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that if anything was done that is improper, that impropriety must be corrected. Okay. That's my thought. But you see then again, Nana Aba, where people wake up in the morning and want to have a say on everything from archaeology to zoology, you can just end up being part of everybody.
You worked for a man who was totally against graft. And so when issues of corruption come up...
He was not only against graft.
One of the things that he was totally against,
There are so many things he was against. There are so many things that he loved. I've chosen, at the Institute, We are preaching the civic education, public policy advocacy. Why? When we finish doing that,
do you think his removal was right?
that's why I say I've not followed that one deeply.
Okay.
All I'm saying specifically is that if he was not removed properly, then that wrong must be righted. That's it.
Okay.
I can't say that I've really sat down and followed the Dumelo thing 100%. I'll be lying.
What do you think about the president's fight against graft?
I think that as a nation, we must all commit ourselves to the fight against graft. The president, in his first State of the Nation address, and consistently so, keeps also assuring us. You are the one who has just said that President Mills said it 10 years ago.
11.
So 11 years ago. And maybe before then, it was Rawlings in the revolution. Before then, it was President Kufuor. So it means that it is a canker and a social problem. And that we must continue to talk about it to the point where we have consciously imbibed. Now, let me tell you something. And if you ask me what free advice I will give.
To the president?
Oh, yes, why not? We're allowed to do so.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Now, if you take our national anthem, something that President Mills was playing with, he was thinking about, it's all about the word and what the words of our symbols mean to us. Now, if you take the national anthem, God bless our homeland, Ghana, make our nation great and strong, bold to defend forever the cause of freedom and right. Fill our hearts with true humility. Make us cherish fearless honesty. Now, you know what President Mills was going to do if God had given him a second term? And this is the free advice to the president. That in that second term, what he was going to do was that instead of his picture, President Mills' picture, in public offices, when he gives you an appointment and you take your 3 oaths, the allegiance, oath of office, and the secrecy, all those ones, the next thing he will ask you as an appointee to do is that take the national anthem or the national pledge, pick a line or a portion that will be your sacred creed in your office.
So you expect the president to do that instead of us seeing his pictures?
That is
it's an advice
I'm saying that's what President Mills was going to do.
Right.
Now, with this president, he can still have his pictures. He's the president.
Right.
But all I'm saying is that you want the words of our national symbols to mean more. You know what I was going to, you know what I was going to put in my office?
No.
To cherish fearless honesty.
Right.
So anytime anybody would walk into my office as head of communications at the presidency and spokesperson for the president, that's what you mean, cherish fearless honesty.
And you have to be honest.
You have to.
Yes.
Until we begin to do that.
Okay.
We can't fight it.
Unfortunately, you haven't answered my question.
Which is the question?
The question is...
Who is forcing you to ask the question?
I'm asking you a question. I'm here to ask you questions. What do you make of the president's fight? You're just offering free advice. But what do you make so far? He seems to think he's made progress. His appointees believe they have made progress. What do you, Koku Anyidoho, think?
There's still corruption to be fought. If you ask me what I think. Yes. But there's still a lot to be done to weed out corruption in this country.
So, has his fight been weak, strong?
You are not going to get me to give you a right answer on it. I'm saying that I've given free advice. Yeah. Because in the free advice, we will now further work on corruption. Because if people now must put words of the anthem and the pledge in their offices, you think that in the next 4 years, it won't change the psyche of people?
You think it will?
Why not?
We sing it in schools every day.
No,
when we have football games, we sing along.
Because we have reduced the anthem and the pledge to only football.
To ceremonies.
It's ceremonies. But if you are asked, Koku Anyidoho, I've appointed you so and so and so, put something...
What did you make of Martin Amidu's resignation?
Well, that is his choice. I mean, as for that one, that is his choice.
But what did you make of the whole hullabaloo?
I enjoyed some of the epistles.
Epistles, I like that. Epistles.
He wrote quite a lot of epistles. And so, to that extent...
You knew him, didn't you?
Well, he worked for President Mills.
Right. Were you close?
He worked for President Mills. We all worked for President Mills. And so, to that extent, we were all colleagues under the same president. But, of course, I'm sure President Mills knew him at much closer range. So, it's his decision to have left government office, and I won't comment. I won't fault him. I won't say anything. He said it, because then again, that was something we're all clamoring for.
Right.
And when so back to the issue of the president and his fight against corruption. On the surface of it, you can say that he's not committed. You can't decide to say that. But when he goes...
Is that what you want
to
say?
No, hold on. When he goes out of line to appoint a non-party member to hold such a key office that we've never had before in his quest and desire to fight corruption. For me, I think that was a very bold move. That was a strong and firm commitment that he wanted to move the fight against corruption away from his political party and his say-so. Now, in these fights, Nana Aba, you just talked about patience and me being a national supporter. In these fights, or in these struggles, there must be a lot of patience. The office is new, it's nascent. It has never existed. If you check on the African continent and even worldwide, how many countries actually even have that office of a special prosecutor? So we are experimenting with something that has never come our way before. For me, a lot of patience would have gone into it for us to achieve something. You understand? We would have had to have a lot of patience to watch that office grow. Of course, the office exists, but the first appointee...
So you think Martin Abidi should have been a lot more patient?
I believe that collectively, you see, because then you don't want... Because I know people, since they started flying this thing 3 days ago...
Do you think he was impatient?
There are people who have prepared their stories already, waiting for this interview to just add their headlines to it.
But do you think he was patient? Or
all I'm saying that it is his decision to have left.
Right.
If it was me, Koku Anyidoho,
you would have stayed?
I may have exercised a bit more restraint. Because, like I'm saying, it's a crawling baby. It is a crawling baby, and virtue favors the brave.
You mentioned his epistles, and you saw the issues he raised
Yes.
in these epistles.
Yes.
Given what you know, if you occupied that office, would you have continued to stay on despite all of the challenges he had enumerated?
Well, those obviously were his concerns.
Right.
In terms of the frustrations that he was suffering. But the question is that virtue favors the brave. Right. And life is a struggle anyway. Every day we wake up, it's a struggle. And for me, if I was in that place, I think that I would have stayed a bit longer for the president to finally convince me that he didn't want me. If it is the president's appointees who are frustrating you, so they are colleague appointees just like you. Is that not it?
Absolutely.
So there's an appointing authority. I would have believed that if the appointing authority had gotten its head fully in the process of frustrating the special prosecutor, then maybe, but hey, it is his decision. But the good thing is that the office has not collapsed.
Yeah.
It's up to His Excellency the President to appoint somebody else to that office. Whatever it is that must be given that office should be given that office. And then, what do you call it? My young brother, who is now the Attorney General, Godfrey Dame. And congratulations to him. I think he has done well for himself to have got into. So if there was any friction that supposedly existed between the Office of the Special Prosecutor and the then Attorney General's office, headed by somebody else, not Godfrey. Godfrey having been there as deputy for 4 years, and now having assumed the full chair itself, he should be in a better position to iron out whatever differences there must have been, so that in his tenure, he will not be accused of frustrating the office of the Special Prosecutor.
Okay. Now, before independence, a number of things had happened before Independence Day celebration, our 64th, like the election petition. Jean Mensah was your mate.
Oh yeah, Jean was my mate in school, in Legon. Not only Jean. Justina Menuvo, the lawyer for the EC, was also our mate.
Right.
Dominic Ayene was also our year mate. The chair of the NCC, Josephine Nkrumah, was our year mate. That is
the deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana.
Elsie. As for Elsie, she's a sister.
You were in preparatory school.
We were in kindergarten.
In
kindergarten. I mean, her father was a Navy officer. My father was in the army, and her mother and my mother, very, very good friends. Elsie and myself, like the Nachum Dansos, Hubert Samoas, General Masope. We began the KG in Kotoka Primary School. And so Elsie is a sister to me.
Right.
Interestingly, the second deputy, the first deputy, is also a year mate of ours. So,
and I hear Charlotte Osei was your senior.
Just a year ahead of us.
Okay.
So it's a generational thing. And another 10 years, 20 years down the line, another generation will come. So it is our generation.
What did you make of the election?
And it is incumbent on us to succeed as a generation and leave some solid legacy for the generations to come.
What did you make of the petition?
For me, I'm not going to go into the details of that petition.
You don't have to. The outcome. I just want you to comment on the outcome.
They ruled. I've never sat anywhere and said that I have ruled in any petition case before.
Right.
So whatever judgment has been given in the wisdom and the bosom of the learned justices of the Supreme Court, whoa yo.
Whoa yo.
That is it. I mean, we live by it.
Yeah.
And I think Ghanaians have moved on. Nana Aba, I mean, Ghanaians have moved on. What we are more interested in is this fight against COVID.
We'll talk about COVID very soon, how it has brought everything to a standstill almost. On the day the judgment was read by the Chief Justice, you took to Twitter again. You love Twitter. I love that you love Twitter. I love Twitter too.
I see you there.
Yeah, you see, I see you too. I see you too. Now, a number of things you tweeted based on the picture that was released from the president's office. Vice President Bawumia bowing to Nana Aba. Now, this is what you had to say on Twitter. For those who missed it, you said, I never saw the Vice President of His Excellency President John Evans Atta Mills pay the kinds of compliments Vice President Bawumia pays to President Akufo-Addo. Second tweet, God gave me the humble opportunity to work with President Atta Mills. I never saw such a scene. Third one, good chemistry. A vice president who is not in a hurry to usurp the authority of the president. What exactly did you mean by that?
I didn't think that I came on an examination on my tweets.
I'm not examining you. I'm just asking you friendly questions.
To write, I didn't think I came to write a thesis on my tweets.
Which vice president in this country has been in a hurry to usurp the authority of the president?
None.
None? When you say that you never saw any vice president pay the kinds of compliments Vice President Bawumia paid to President Akufo-Addo, I say that when President Mahama was vice president to Professor Mills, he did say some really kind words about him. You forgot too soon about these kind words.
Four years ago, you succeeded.
In
this year, you will succeed.
Succeeded in what?
You asked the question, and I gave an answer. That went haywire.
Well,
4 years down the line, I'm much more, let's say, aware.
Aware?
And so
you are not aware then?
I'm not obliged to answer that question. Skip.
Okay, I will. But I'm just asking you a simple question. Why those tweets?
Because I tweeted and I didn't offend anybody.
You didn't?
No.
Did you see the comments under the
People are free to make their comments. I didn't offend anybody.
So some were offended. Some NDC faithful.
But even Lucifer was offended by God's omnipotence and presence. Judas Iscariot, who was carrying the purse, was offended by Jesus Christ's message of salvation and betrayed him.
You seem to fancy Dr. Bawumia becoming the next president of Ghana.
Ouch! Where did you get that one from?
I said you seem to fancy. You seem.
That is an obvious conjecture. Ghanaians will decide. The majority of Ghanaians will decide. 2024. Now we have a nation to build. There's a president, there's a vice president. Nana Aba, I think that Ghanaians are not too interested again in the heavy dose of...
Oh, they are, actually. Because when I posted the picture, all the comments under it wanted to know. Everyone commenting wanted to know exactly what the issue is. If there is a rift between you and President John Mahama. Is there a rift?
There's no rift.
There's no rift?
I've answered that question today. There's no rift.
When was the last time you spoke to him?
I am not making him a subject of discussion. All I say is that there's no rift.
Absolutely not. But
okay.
When was the last time
Let's
you spoke
move on.
to him? When was the last time you spoke to him?
Let's move on.
We will move on. But when was the last time you spoke to him? I'll come to your books very soon.
That's what I want to discuss.
Which one? Your books?
This is
This is a calendar.
Yes, Atta Mills Institute.
Yes. This
Very
was when
beautiful.
he visited the United Nations.
So this is what I do these days. Let's talk about this. My passion.
I'll come to that very soon. If I talk about this, I mean, the show is for 1 hour, 30 minutes.
This is what I do
But
these days.
I'm asking you a simple
I want to
question.
discuss what I do these days.
But you don't decide the subject of the
I agree, I don't decide the subject, but
Yeah.
I don't think I'm in confinement.
No, you're not. Absolutely not. I mean, who will confide the bull?
Exactly.
Why are you called the bull, by the way?
The bull, I believe, is a hardworking,
And you are hardworking.
Thank you very much for the compliment.
No, that I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So what's the rift between you and President? Did you wish Mrs. Mahama a happy International Women's Day?
When is our next Atta Mills Institute conference?
Oh, I'll talk about that very soon. Now, I mean, let's focus on International Women's Day for a bit.
No, but in fact, talking
International
about International Women's Day, there's a lot that as a nation we can be proud about.
I mean, you were mates with some powerful women. You talk about Jean Mensah. You've talked about...
Charlotte was a year ahead of us.
Charlotte was a year ahead.
Elsie is there now.
Elsie,
Elsie
yes.
Ado.
Did you wish... What do you make of Ghanaian women now? I mean, that the theme was choose to challenge. What did that theme mean to you?
In fact, there's a personal friend of mine, the Honorable Hajia Zuara Ibrahima. She's the current MP for Salaga South. She's more like a sister to me. The hard work that Hajia Zuara put into winning that Salaga South seat, for me, I'm so proud of her.
Right.
But if you go back into this whole women empowerment, and we want to just go back a few years, especially in the Fourth Republican dispensation, you can't take out Mrs. Konadu Ajima Rawlings.
Absolutely
Good.
not.
All these spousal inheritance things and the interstate succession law, the PNDC law 111, where the DWM moved the women's lib thing.
Starr 103.5
You can't take out Nana Aba Anamoah. You
FM.
can't take out the NCWD, the National Commission for Women and Development at the time. I don't know what's happening to it these days, but the NCWD used to be managed then by, I think it was the mother of the CPP flag bearer, Green Street. No, not his mother. Anyway, some woman, I've forgotten the name, but those days there was the NCWD, the National Commission for Women and Development, a very vibrant state agency that also championed the cause of women. If you come into President Kufuor and making her ladyship Justice Georgina Wood the first female Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, President Mills comes, maintains that status quo. Then he makes the Right Honorable Joyce Bamford Addo the first female speaker. And President Mills did more than just that. People don't remember, but there was a lady commissioner of police, Mrs. Mills Robertson. Yeah. For a brief period, she was the acting IGP.
Yes, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, thank you.
Auntie Elizabeth.
Good,
Yeah.
Elizabeth, Auntie Elizabeth, good.
Yeah.
She was acting IGP for a period until Commissioner Tewia Kwe became substantive.
Yeah.
Subsequently, President Mills moved her to Sierra Leone as his High Commissioner. And that was quite significant. A first female acting IGP, quite significant. And a few other appointments. I think there was one Mrs. Kacheku, who became the first female head of the Public Services Commission. Some of those things that people really don't pay attention to, but are significant for women empowerment. Of course, under President Mahama, Charlotte then became the first female EC chair. President Akufo-Addo has come. He's maintained the status quo. He's now given us the first female chief of staff at the office of the president. So in their own unique ways, since 1992, every leader has, in his own way, followed the path of female empowerment. And I think that on that trajectory, that is one thing that I think that is one issue that I believe that all presidents have committed themselves to, women empowerment. Because
so you are happy with the progress?
Oh yes.
You're happy with
and
the
that's
progress?
Exactly. There's no president who hasn't come and made a significant stride in that area of women empowerment. That's why I'm just giving you little shots at every president. President Rawlings, President Kufuor, President Mills, President Mahama, President Nana
I didn't
Akufo-Addo.
see a tweet from you on International Women's Day.
I had a problem with my phone. Oh, I'm serious.
What was the problem with your phone?
I'm not too sure what happened to
No,
it.
but because that day you tweeted.
Yes, subsequently.
You did tweet.
Yes.
On the 8th,
Yes,
you tweeted.
yes.
But you didn't.
Subsequently.
Tweet but did you wish your female friends a happy?
Those that I could read by phone, I did.
Did you wish your wife?
I walk out of the studio. Don't annoy me. Do not. If you want to disturb this interview, I'm at liberty to go.
You can sit down. I apologize for bringing that up.
Okay. So let's continue. If you want to see the other side of me, you see it. I don't take no hostages. Let's have a decent conversation. It's your first program. Don't spoil it. Don't make people get pissed off with you. Let's have a nice conversation and just move on. You want to talk about personal issues? If I ask you what, if I ask you some, just forget about it and let's move on.
Okay. Let's go back to the election petition.
I'm not discussing that issue.
So which one do you want to discuss?
Okay, go ahead. Ask the election petition what you want to ask.
Because the election petition, you said that it wasn't the NDC's fight. Why wasn't
Starr
it the NDC's fight?
103.5 FM.
But the record states so.
That
Who was the petitioner in the case?
President Mahama.
So why are you asking?
He was.
So why are you asking a mundane question?
He led the NDC into the election.
You are asking.
And it wasn't just him that was
You want to go somewhere that I will not go.
I'm not going anywhere. I want to ask you why you thought the NDC didn't have to own that fight. That's all. Because you are through and through NDC.
Because you have just said that the writ stated clearly who the petitioner was.
But the petitioner was not there as John Mahama, an individual. He led a party into an election, didn't he?
I believe that you are interviewing Koku Anyidoho, is that not it? So why are you so enamored about somebody else?
About President Mahama? I'm not.
Ask about Koku and talk to Koku Anyidoho.
Okay, let's talk
I
about
said I'm doing other things.
How do you feel about your suspension from the party?
Nobody. I have not received any letter to that effect.
You haven't?
No.
How? So how did you receive the news?
I don't know. I've not received any news. You are saying it.
You haven't seen it. You haven't seen it on the news portal.
I have not seen it anywhere.
You haven't.
I haven't. I'm telling you.
So you still consider yourself
Star
a member of the NDC?
103.5 FM.
Except that I'm doing different things now.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I can tell.
I'm allowed. I mean, one moment you were at TV3, is that not it?
Yes.
Now you are not there any longer.
Yes.
So TV3, people cannot ask you questions about TV3.
They do, and
Star
I answer them.
103.5.
Well, the ones you can answer, is that not it?
Yeah,
But as at now, in terms of editorial policy, you can answer.
No, I can't.
Good. It's the same thing. At a point in time, I've just shown you these things and these things, Anaba. I used to generate content. And so I could speak boldly to the contents that I generated. Is that not it? Today, I'm generating content for Atta Mills Institute. I can speak boldly to that. Some time ago, I was Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. And so I generated content at the headquarters of the party. Today, for goodness sake, the delegates made a choice. I've never been angry. I've never been angry with the delegates for the choice they made. I
remember after that I spoke to you. You seemed upbeat. You were
exactly. Okay. Even that day at trade fair, I stayed till the very end, and I said, "Hey, this thing ought to come to an end," and it has come to an end.
Will you try again in the future?
I'll tell you off air. I'll tell you off air.
Right.
I'll tell you off air, not on air, for very good reasons.
Okay.
But I remain a bona fide member of the NDC. I'm not leaving the NDC, no matter what happens. If I show you all this work that we have done, this is
our legend.
This is Rawlings's tribute book. This is the Atta Mills. Apart from the picture one, the journey, there's also the tribute books. You will see my tributes in there. Here, you will see the tribute of the Atta Mills Institute there on page 190 something. So if I generate content for things like this is Atta Mills Institute, and you ask me, 206, and you ask me about these things.
You did all of this in.
I'm telling you, this is it.
Yeah.
Atta Mills Institute.
Right.
Whose signature is there?
That's yours.
That's my name, Koku Anyidoho, founder and CEO. Is that not it? So I'm busy with other things.
Right.
For goodness sake.
Tell us about the legacy, the one legacy you think Ghanaians should never forget.
About?
Professor Mills, of course.
Now this is, let me tell you, this is the tribute of Cadman Atta Mills, President Mills' brother, in the same tribute book, page 264. And what did he say? There is no Atta Mills legacy, I am quoting him, without a Rawlings legacy. And for that, my family and I owe you a big thank you. This is a big statement coming from the family of, this is Koku Anyidoho. This is coming from the Atta Mills family. The Rawlings legacy, the Atta Mills legacy, politically, as for what gave him intellectually, academically, and everything, that is about politically. So you will see here that in the Institute, we have also incorporated Rawlings as part of what we are doing at the Atta Mills Institute. So it's not only about Atta Mills,
Right.
it's about Jerry Rawlings as well. So we are not lazy about at the Institute. We are driving public policy, civic education, and we have achieved. I was in Guinea-Conakry to go and observe elections, thanks to ECOWAS. I have not finished working with ECOWAS. There are lots of things. Look, Nana Aba, managing VVIPs itself is an art on its own.
What was the toughest experience for you?
That is why
Starr 103.5
when there's a
FM.
president, they always get somebody from the State Protocol Department of the Foreign Service.
Because they understand.
Good. They are trained, well-trained protocol officers. Working around President Mills, my philosophy was to project and to protect him. You protect the presidency and you project the presidency. That is it. Protect the presidency and project the presidency. That's what we did. I'm working out, and when I say this, those people don't understand that at the Institute, I'm also now a member of the Geneva Institute for Leadership and Public Policy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I went to school.
Obviously.
Exactly.
Obviously. Obviously.
So after Legon, one went to the UK to do his masters, came back to Legon again, did another master. So I feed my brains, and I'm not idle. And like you said earlier on, that you know that I'm a taskmaster.
That much.
When you give me a job, and I don't want to do it, I won't take it. When I want to do it, I will take it, and I will make sure that I commit myself to it. I'm committed now to the Atta Mills Institute with a passion. By the kind grace of God, things are working out well for me. I have a very wonderful team. Adolf, Edem, Felix, Precious, Clarissa. Some of them are here, yes. Yeah. A wonderful team. President Akufo-Addo has graciously agreed. His government is under the Coastal Development Authority, is building the Asumdwe Park into a state monument. President Rawlings did it for Kwame Nkrumah. Right. President Akufo-Addo is doing it for President Mills. And the Atta Mills Institute shall not stop saying thank you to him. I won't stop. No, I won't stop.
Why should you?
Yeah, because why should I? So, if that's what I'm committed to now, and people are helping the Institute, people like Alhaji Baba Kamara, people like Nene Nagai Kasa the 8th, known in private life as Mr. Mike Afedigizu, who graciously is the chairman of the governing council of the Atta Mills Institute. In fact, today is 75 years old today.
Bless him.
So Nene, Muchumka, Nyumwa Jobu. I'm working with people, and so I don't want to.
So you are enjoying this. You are enjoying your.
I am more than enjoying it.
Right.
I love it, and I'm doing it with a passion.
Would you say that you feel fulfilled? You're a happy man.
I'm happy man. Why? There are others who are doing. Well, President Kufuor, He didn't wait to leave. He has his Kufuor Foundation. And it's keeping him busy. Dr. Bafo Ajimandria is the one heading it, yes. And they are doing a fantastic job there. There's the Rollins Foundation. I just found out that they also put in a tribute. So there's the Rollins Foundation, there's the Atta Mills Institute, there's Buzia Institute, there's Dankwa Institute, Buzia Foundation. Being a president, it doesn't come easy to become a president of a republic.
Was it difficult managing?
It's a task.
I mean, you were almost the heartbeat.
Yeah, I've just told you that because I used to write his speeches. And so...
Did his... I mean, he was a very patient man. Very patient, very honest. Did it disturb you sometimes? Did it make your work difficult?
No, the chemistry, for me, it was his honesty. That was good for me.
Right.
His honesty was what just made me just, that was it there. So I could come out, like you're saying, boldly and say things on his behalf and for him and know that I wouldn't have to eat back my words. You said something about headsman's role in your rather elaborate introduction.
You did say it, didn't you?
I said it, but let me go back and put that in context. Because just last year, thankfully, the truth has come out. Nana Aba, I never, and the records are clear, I never dismissed anybody. I never. The lights went out at the Kumasi Sports Stadium. Nathaniel Atto of Joy FM called me. And so we spoke. All I said was that we were going to investigate and that we could smell sabotage in the whole thing. Of course, I'm in government at the time. I'm privy to lots of security reports that others are not privy to. And because of your oath of secrecy and everything, you can't say everything in the public domain. So I say that we will investigate and heads will roll if anybody is found culpable. And never did I say anywhere that I had sacked anybody or anybody's head had rolled. Somehow, fortunately for me...
Did those words roll off your tongue, though?
Oh, yes, the phrase.
Heads must roll. It doesn't mean you fired anybody. I mean, it's an expression.
I said heads will roll.
Yes, but it doesn't mean that you're going to fire anybody. I understand you. I understand your point. I mean, it's English. So when you say heads will roll, it doesn't mean anybody has been fired.
Exactly so.
Yeah, I get you.
So nobody was sacked. Is that not it? So where did it come from that Koku had sacked somebody? Where is that ECG boss who sacked him? Nobody sacked him. Because there was no such dismissal, and I had no powers to dismiss.
I want to come back to Professor Mills, and you're doing a lot of work for Professor Mills. I mean, I can tell from the stack of...
In fact, this is his...
Oh, that's a huge one. It's voluminous.
It's supposed to be his biography, but that I was working on with somebody, but...
How's his wife? How's
Starr 103.5 FM.
I believe she's fine. I want to believe she's fine. She's doing very well. And that's about all that I will say on that matter, that I believe that she's doing well.
Okay, cool. So where do you intend to go with all of this?
To heaven.
You believe you go to heaven?
Yes, I'm going.
What makes you think you go to heaven?
Because I'm serving my God well, and I'm serving my country well. So God will honor me, my country will honor me. And I'll find space in heaven. Okay. The angels have told me, they've already prepared a space for me.
Do you pass? If anybody described you as a hot-tempered person, would you agree? I'm
not hot-tempered, but when I spend sufficient time explaining issues to you, and you want to be hot-headed, I walk away. That's it. I'm not hot-tempered. But when I've spent elaborate copious time telling you, we have agreed off-air through your producers, the parameters of an interview, and you want to ambush me, you're not being fair to me.
I'm not ambushing you.
So you're not being fair.
And that question was not even based on anything.
Well,
I'm just asking you.
But you don't.
I didn't ambush you.
Nana Aba, you and I are friends.
Yes, we are very good
so
friends.
don't play to the gallery.
I'm not playing to any gallery.
I mean,
Koku, would you? What would you? What? I mean, you're a communicator.
Let's remain friends.
We will never stop being friends, Koku. I guarantee you that if you try to cut me off, I will bring you back.
Let's remain friends.
We will always be friends.
No, let's have a nice conversation. And
we are.
I'm not hot-tempered. It's just that it's difficult for me to take certain hostages.
Neither am I hot-headed.
Exactly, but people think you are.
I am not.
Good. I don't believe you are.
No.
Exactly. So
No, I am not hot-headed. I won't be sitting here.
Because we are all in this studio. If why
We're having a conversation.
I can see producers passing papers to you under the
This is an LPM.
okay.
They're not passing anything.
So if you want us to say everything that we think we know, we will say it, and it will spoil the program. We all know the trade secrets. Let's keep it within that balance, and then we move on. Yes, because we are not being fair to your listeners. People have tuned in. They want to listen to.
I wish you would see the comments that are coming in.
What are they saying?
Because they think that you should answer questions about John Mahama. And they think you are. But I totally respect if you don't want to talk about him. But they feel you're being evasive. You don't want to talk about President Mahama. And so that's why I ask you. I cannot be a journalist, sit here and not talk to you
I agree.
about President Mahama. And so if based on that you say I'm hot-headed.
No, I agree. You have a right to answer the questions.
Absolutely.
I mean, sorry, to ask the questions.
Yes, and it is up to you to answer it.
Fine.
But I will not say that I won't ask the questions.
Wonderful.
I will ask the questions that the people expect me
I respect
to
that.
ask. Okay, and I respect your decision not to
Thank you.
answer these questions.
Brilliant.
What kind of music do you listen to?
I told you that I listen to worship.
What kind of worship?
I,
Who?
I listen to worship songs a lot. Look,
Kake,
is it Kakeku?
Kakeku.
Oh, I listen to that a lot. In fact, before the advent of FM stations, those who remember, we used to have only Radio 1 and Radio 2. And every afternoon after the 1 o'clock news bulletin, the world news at 1:30, between 1:30 and 2, there was what you call the guitar bandstand. And those were the days that Akwesi Ampofuje, Senior Eddie Donko and Co. were reigning. And if I found myself growing up in that era, definitely those songs left a lasting memory, or have left lasting memories on my mind. Today's generation will also have the new ones that they are listening to. And so for me, the Senior Eddie Donkos, the Akwesi Ampofujes, the Kakekus, the Pamumus and Co. Because then again, the music genre at the time was eliminating. It was educative. It wasn't uncomplimentary, if I may use that word, lest I offend any group of persons. But all the songs came with fables, lyrics.
Do you have a good singing voice?
I do sing.
Yeah?
I sang at my 50th. I sang so many
Please.
songs. You know what you want me to sing?
Make me happy.
Yenam ko benina, nyami ni yenam, yenne bisa zinina, obeya mount saboteur, demti, nyajidi, de nyami beye, obeya mount seunyajida, nyami beya mount. Nana Aba, demti, nyajidi, de nyami obeye, obeya mo, seu nyajida, nyami beya mo.
Starr 103.5 FM. Simply the best.
You have a very good voice.
You know,
yeah, you do have a good voice.
One of my other favorite ones is Wana na oni use. Are you
religious?
I'm not religious. I'm spiritual.
What's the difference? Tell us.
Oh, religion can be a bit of a dogma.
Right.
Spirituality is when you identify your space within human existence, earthly existence, and you're able to tune your frequencies.
What do you do for fun?
Of course, I watch football.
You watch Arsenal.
And
that's not fun.
You got me on that one. That's the hard one. No, and I read a lot. Yes. That's how come literature is my forte, right? And I write a lot.
You don't go out dancing? You don't sit out with friends, have drinks? You don't do any of those?
I don't club actually, but I'm not boring to be with. I like to spend time in my villages. Tanyigbe, where my dad comes from. Originally, we come from Alakpale. But then my great-grandfather settled in Tanyigbe.
You speak impeccable Ewe, don't you?
My mother comes from Anyako. So I speak both the Angolon and the Bedouin.
Right.
And so I love being in the village, the countryside. I think after the 2016 election, if you remember, there was one picture that went viral on social media because I was in a canoe.
Yes.
Exactly. I was in Anyako.
Right.
So I was in a canoe, and then they said I was running away.
After saying.
Exactly. After saying comfortable lead, that I'm running away to Togo. Oh, you pay.
And you pay.
And you pay for Gaga Babara. I got you.
Baba now, Sia.
I said, Baba.
Mr. Babenye. But my mom is
it's true.
My mom is ever. You know that. So you go to your village a lot?
A lot. I like being in the countryside. In fact, the part of politics that I love is the travels around the countryside. I hardly go by air, even though...
So you have a front row view of the real countryside.
Stopping.
Engaging.
And that's it. The engagement. The engagement. The engagement. The engagement. The engagement. The people in the huts. The people under the palm wine trees. The people by the roadside. Because they may never see you again. Yeah. And
when you see that, and you look at yourself and the entourage following the president, what strikes you? I mean, you see abject poverty stare at you in the face like that, glaringly.
But that is the more reason why it is important to still be with them. Yes, the issue of the entourage, we can discuss that, yes. But that is why I still prefer to use the road than to go by air. Fly. But of course, you see, when you are a president, and let's be fair to the facts. Of course,
we don't expect our president to sit in a trotro.
Sometimes he must go to point Z and come back to point A for another function. So, and...
Do you feel Ghanaians understand that very well? Because they see the entourage and they're seeing a fleet of top-tier cars, V8.
That is a real challenge.
They consume energy, they consume a lot of fuel.
That is why I have chosen, you see, because if you see these things that I wrote 10 years ago, 11 years ago, that is my passion. So I have not changed, Nana Aba. Don't accuse me.
Who is Nana? Who is Nana?
Don't accuse me.
Anyway, Abba is
oh, okay.
It's Fonty.
My passion for those things haven't changed. Right. Look, Rollins and the NDC was when I was growing up in Koku Primary School. I can still see Rollins, bare-chested, at Nicholson Park on top of his Mohawk. I can still see Rollins carrying the coffin of one of the majors that fell.
Very good memory of him. His death hit you?
President Rollins?
Yes.
Oh, why not? I mean...
It hit everybody, but I mean, you have such graphical memories.
Because in the last moments, the closeness, came much stronger. We began to understand.
Did you ever drift apart?
I could never afford to drift apart from him.
Right. But I mean, when you were working with President Mills, we knew of the rift.
There was some obvious. Yeah. But if you read Cadman's tribute, if you read other things, and that's how come I was able to get close to him, because eventually he got to know that. In fact, one significant thing, Nana Aba, that I humbly was able to get President Rawlings to do before he passed was last year, the 24th of July, when the Atta Mills Institute was celebrating 8 years. No, the 8 years of the passing of, but the first anniversary of our own existence.
Right. As
an institute.
Right.
We sent an invitation to the former President Rawlings to join us at Asumdwe Park for our program. That was supposed to run from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And we sought permission appropriately from National Security. Now, those who don't know that the place is under National Security and that you must write officially and get permission. By 6:30 a.m., President Rawlings was at Asumdwe Park in the company of his communication director, Komnando, and Dr. Agumenu.
Did it surprise you?
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah? Why?
When Komnando called me and said that the former president was going to come, I'm like, oh my God. I knew you would bless me in so many ways, but this blessing is bigger than I accepted.
Why did you feel that urge to?
Because then you begin to ask yourself, oh my God, so Koku Anyidoho, have I been able to get President Rawlings to come to Asumdwe Park? And at 6:30 a.m., Nana Aba.
Was it his first time there?
He was there for the main funeral. But I can't remember him at any memorial event again. And this one, he came with a white rose. Aww. I'm telling you. A white rose, and just placed the rose on the tombstone of the man.
What did that signify?
Oh my goodness. Then he stepped back, just his usual thing,
Yeah.
Did this and then looked up and then.
I mean, that's a very good posture.
Yes. Now, Nana, but I want to believe that in all humility, having engaged President Rawlings, over the period, he was able to come and make peace with President Mills. Today, both of them are wherever they are. And I believe that with their combined blessings, me, Koku Anyidoho, where I will get to in my human existence. And my Bible tells me that I will live like Abraham. Yeah, to a very ripe age. Then I'll go to my ancestors. But
amen to that.
Amen, thank you. But I'm leaving a lasting legacy on this nation. And as it says in Isaiah 61, the anointing of the Lord is upon me. I used to run away from it.
You know the Bible very well.
I used to run away from it. I used to run away from it. I have been anointed and I've been ordained a prophet according to the order of Melchizedek. And I'm going to bring liberty.
Yeah?
Yeah, to people.
Ordained by who?
By God. Yes. I'm Samuel, is that not it?
Yes, you are Samuel.
Samuel was a prophet. And so I'm going back to what God prepared for my
original. Do you like your English name?
Of course, I love Samuel.
You love it. Yeah, of course, it's on your Twitter, Samuel Koku Anyidoho.
Yes, I never used it for a long time.
Why did you finally go back to it?
When I discovered, right. Abraham used to be Abram.
So you mean when God spoke to you?
Thank you. When the revelation came.
Revisited your name.
So Abraham had to change his name. Jacob had to change his name.
Would you describe yourself as a maverick? Would you?
What do people say I am?
I think.
Who do people say I am?
Oh, well, if I go through the comments, a few people thought that you're quick-tempered. That's why I asked you that question. But I think you're a maverick. I think you are very unorthodox.
Well...
Would I be right?
You'll be right. I don't like dogma. Yeah, but I'm not stupid nor reckless in my variations.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't like dogma.
Why would anybody ever assume that anyone is stupid in their...
Oh, when people can't understand you.
Right.
And you've used the word maverick. What's the dictionary definition of a maverick? I don't think it is that derogatory, is it?
No, it is not. You are different. Positively different.
Exactly. It is in that difference that I'll start investing in Atta Mills Institute and people think that he's sick.
Do people think you're sick?
Oh, Master. I mean...
Let me take a short commercial break because I don't understand why you would dedicate yourself to remind Ghanaians of one of the most peaceful presidents this country has ever had and why anyone would think that you are sick.
Let's come back.
When we come back, you tell me more about the sickness.
Starr 103.5 FM. Simply the best.
The numbers have finally turned into names. Names of people we know. Names of people we love. Coronavirus is ravaging our country and taking the lives of our loved ones. But if we do the right thing, we can help stop the spread. Wash and sanitize your hands regularly, and most importantly, wear a nose mask every time you step out of your house. Masks save lives.
Chale, I don't go bitters no. Me too chamao.
Somebody can I say bitters the value is the same. And I'm saying no, I don't go bitters at the move free.
Ojam, forgive me.
After the one who said, Sapunchania told you my congress and sugar hoodoo. Bueno, one more, Pampa be in one. Now you for no.
I for no, I for check. Test no. And now I see yo. Now Trabia, Utimi Hunu say, I don't go na Kenya no who move to the next level.
I don't go bitters at the search for draw. One now you won't draw at the same time.
Ah, Nansa Angel Heba for na ye dear. Say ye to Trabi, na memma, near see who ya dear.
Member when in field doing what drink count and what drinking sport to be a man from Fred 0561 200 333 0504 499 977.
I don't go bitters.
Fade, ade, fa, don't go Fabico, Fade, ade, fa.
What would you do with 50 gigabytes free data? Would you binge watch TV all day? Would you download FIFA 21? How about downloading your entire coursework? Or you do all at the same time? See, Surfline has a way of giving you value like no one does. 50 gigabytes free data when you get yourself a Surfline device. Now that's a sledgehammer. Don't miss out on anything. Get yourself a Surfline device today from any Surfline shop and get 50 gigabytes free data to do all you ever wanted on Ghana's only true 4G LTE network.
Surfline, it's about time.
And Sanujuma Payo.
Anne, are you cold?
Ye frefre fashion industry for.
So we are fashion designer, tailor, seamstress, and also we are cosmetologist.
Who's yes ye tree a hairstylist.
And ye na umren.
And ye frɛ wo say, Betchra wo bobre, na ye ma waward, kakraka. We ye GH Fashion in the City 2021 challenge. I can see our Quest Image promotions at the brew.
And say we you who free me cry. Obian himself when I chef, when I want to so. Mr. Prices no. Eye bungam. Edu chemu ankasa.
Professional makeup kits.
Industrial sewing machines.
And in Kaye Bebre.
Na ope muna
Binya brand new saloon car. So cool. Tier rubber.
Hey, and yenya grow. They hear and say, Oba dialing *718*.
118 hash.
Na would demo or for catch you bino bisun country be say, hey.
And ye fashion in the city. And Sanujuma Paye.
Ayiko. Or for near coin. A GH Fashion in the City. And notify who shemu. Na bedi nema be
EIB Network and the PMMs and the Taisa event yechi.
Starr 103.5 FM. Simply the best.
Party. I had to cook your party. I'm sorry. But you were enjoying that one. We Papa, we from Ampafwe J. That's your favorite. One of your favorites.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah. And you were singing along and dancing along.
That one, you didn't show them that one.
Oh, we did.
Oh, you showed them later.
Yeah, no, it's on Facebook.
They saw the dancing too.
Yes.
La.
But you're a good dancer. You're a good dancer.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
They're one of my favorites. I mean, and it's true. I mean, I mean, look, there's so much reward in goodness, Nana Aba. I followed you, and that's why I want us to stay focused. But I like your tenacity. You've had your downs in this system. Oh yes.
I know.
When people thought that you had been cut off completely, But hey, you couldn't be bothered.
I'm unbreakable.
Thank you. You just stayed focused. And today, you say you follow me on Twitter. I also follow you on Twitter. I mean, you are there. That's Nana Aba Anamoah. That's how you are. People like it on the other side. They won't break you down. And that's Koku Anyidoho. No, it won't. In fact, in adversity, I find strength.
Yeah, I like that one.
In adversity, I find strength, especially when my conscience is clean. If for no apparent reason, when I am sleeping, you decide that you won't sleep. That's your own business.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the night,
you are living rent free in people's.
in the middle of the night, you wake up
And you're thinking about.
and you turn yourself into a vulture.
I mean, why do they think you're sick?
Or on the
On that issue.
Oh, at a point in time, people even thought that I was practicing necromancy, as if I was communicating with the dead.
What? Why? Just because you stayed the course.
Yeah.
To push the legacy.
Exactly.
Of the
And
late
so
president.
some people genuinely, until they engage you, and you explain to them, oh, okay. But
why is it
but
difficult to fathom?
No, but there are those also who know the potential of this.
Right.
And for
so
them,
they're against it?
For them, it's like they've suddenly woken up.
Right.
And like, oh my goodness.
I should have done that.
How did we allow Koku Anyidoho to patent this thing?
Okay.
But let me tell you the story, Nana Aba, that I didn't just start this thing because I didn't get to become General Secretary of the party. When President Mills personally called me, and I used to work for Mr. Alexa Shago. He's gone now. He was 2-time governor of the Central Bank, and then he had then set up the Metropolitan and Allied Bank, which was the first private commercial bank in Ghana. It was a Ghana-Malaysian partnership. That was when Ghana opened up to Malaysia under the president of Prime Minister, the governance of Mahathir Mohamad. And I found myself working with him as his executive assistant. And let me be thankful to him and his family members who are here today. That period working with Mr. Alexa Shago really opened my eyes to corporate governance and a lot of things, because I was attending board meetings and he himself was deep and he gave me a lot of training, both locally, internationally, and everything. So as for NDC, like I'm saying, as for Rollins, PNDC, we were there. NDC, so I'm at 92. I can still remember myself voting in front of Legon Hall. The ballot box was there. That's where we voted.
You were students then?
I was a student then, yeah, because I left in 93. And the Aluta, Nana Aba, I was beaten before by police. When we led some Aluta.
Were you injured?
Oh, yeah. You can ask my colleagues, they will tell you. That's when we wanted the restoration of democracy. There's a place in Legon called E9 on top of the bookshop. We used to have a lot of meetings there. And people know what we have done, and so we are not new to Ghana's, at least the fourth Republican dispensation. Some of us we day from beginning till now. And we've climbed the ropes. So President Mills called me sometime in 2005. And I said this so that if anybody goes and stands somewhere and says that he introduced me to President Mills, it's a complete lie, because in 2001, when we lost, so President Mills went on sabbatical in Canada. Then a few young men and women decided to set up the youth forum, the NDC Youth Forum, which included the likes of Haruna Idrisu, who is now the minority leader, Inusa Fuseni, yes, Baba Jamal, yes, John Adams, he was our convener, Clarissa Akolache, the late Jote, Bismarck Agbemenule, Komla Sopo, Biako.
Where are they all?
Otache, Gadiel Akwa. In fact, it was Gadiel, may he so rest in peace. It was Gadiel who actually led me to the youth forum. And I say that in honor of his memory today. Gadiel, he just met me.
So at what point did you meet President Mills?
President Mills, we met on Legon campus already.
Okay.
When he was a lecturer.
Right.
Good. But then the politics one came when he returned from Canada, when we're preparing for 2004 elections.
What was the one thing that made you decide to work for him?
The phone call that he put through to me.
Okay.
Yeah, because he called me.
It was very personal.
He was very personal.
Right.
He called me, and I still remember what I was doing that morning.
What were you doing?
I was having morning devotion. I was on my knees in the bedroom.
So you've always been that prayerful type?
Oh, my father and my mother gave us good EP church upbringing, and especially when my mother fell ill.
Right. So at
1991.
When did you receive this epiphany? Because it was an epiphany.
Let me just tell the story about how President Mills called me. So he called me that morning, and he just said, Koku, I want you to work for me. Why? Because God has gifted me with writing, so I do a lot of writing. So it was my writing forte that attracted President Mills. Not him alone, but many other people. That's where I draw my strength from. I write a lot, and God gives it to me. I can sit at Accra Sports Stadium.
You have that in common with Martin Amidu.
We got something in common. That's what I have something in common with you. I must have something in common with you. Don't forget he was
that was just by the way.
You know, I can sit at Accra Sports Stadium in the middle of an Arsenal match.
Oh dear.
and churn out articles. I mean, that's me.
Right.
Anyway, so that's how President Mills reached out to me and Koku, come and work for me. And I said, yes, sir. And he said, Koku, I don't have money to pay you.
Right.
If you leave the bank, I said, sir, if money was a consideration, you wouldn't have called me this morning. I believe that it's a calling. And just as Christ called Peter and the 11 to be disciples, sir, I pledge.
And you never looked back.
I've never looked back. I've never looked back, and I'll never look back. Because
did people think you were being,
you know, and at that time,
silly for leaving the
yes,
bank?
Exactly. Because at that time, so he didn't make it in 2001. In 2000, he didn't make it in 2004. And our MPP friends have started referring to him as a serial loser. But let me tell you, that was the strength they were giving him, but he didn't know.
Buoyed him.
He says, Koku, me, I've never been a loser in my life. We will win the 2008 election, just mark it on the wall. That was where I was getting my energy from. Every energy that I exhibited, the source of the power was the man himself. He was the one who always energized me. Koku, just make sure that you stay on course and stay focused. So, Nana Aba, the same way Peter couldn't betray Christ, I couldn't betray Atta Mills, because if I did so, I mean, I won't go to heaven. But I want to go to heaven.
You want to go to heaven?
I really want to go and meet him there.
What's your idea of heaven?
It's on earth here a bit. But there's another place after this world. Where that one...
Which one? Paint it. On earth.
The one on earth is that the blessings will flow.
All right.
Praise God from whom... That's the doxology.
It's not driving a Bentley, living in a plush neighborhood.
I don't have a problem with people who live in plush neighborhoods. I don't have a problem. But you see...
You live in a plush neighborhood.
I live in Oyarifa. I respect the neighborhood.
It's a beautiful neighborhood.
I respect the neighborhood. Yeah. Now, President Mills, as far as I'm concerned, had two homes. One, Reggie Manuel, and another one at Ufanko. The Ufanko one he never lived in. It was one of his security guys who lived in it. And President Mills made the security guy build a borehole to serve the community.
Oh. That's lovely.
From my own upbringing, my father has always, from his military background, the rural background, my mother's everything, they've always opened up to people. But when I saw President Mills do that politically, I always told myself that given the opportunity, why live in the same area with colleague politicians? Then we can't serve each other.
So you move out.
Rather, you make yourself easy target, because the other day they had some music, and he's playing music. When we cannot sleep, he's sleeping. So I prefer to be where other people will appreciate my presence. Okay. So if I can give them water, I can give them something. I am touching lives.
Love to give back.
I give.
That's beautiful.
I give.
That's beautiful.
I give, and unashamedly I do.
We have to wrap up. At what point did you and Gabi become palsy wealthy?
Palsy wealthy.
Yes.
Gabi Kidako. Oh, this was way back in opposition, when MPP was in opposition. So this was even before. So let's say this is a period when President Kufuor was president. And so Gabi and I became friends on National Link. Of course, Gabi was...
we support that club too.
Oh my goodness. Gabi is a diehard Arsenal fan. And that's how we became friends. And we've maintained that solid level of camaraderie in spite of our political differences. He knows what I can do. I know what he can do. And so that makes the friendship Okay, so that hey.
In Tree, they say Oya Sroya.
Ah, well. Aha. He has his passion for his uncle. I had my passion for Atta Mills, who had called me to service. Magana, I carry there. You don't cross my line, I don't cross your line.
Okay. Here is our mystery question. On the Star Chat, you're given a mystery question. You
So this is the first mystery question.
Yeah, you open it, you read
Where did it come from?
You open it, you read it.
And now, the mystery question.
Oh my goodness.
So read it.
I can't lie.
No, you can't lie. You are an honest man. You say you're very honest, so you can't lie.
Between Dr. Bahomia and Alan Chermanti, who do you think should succeed President Akufo-Addo as flag bearer of the LPP? Oh, mystery question. Where did you come from? You didn't stay in your mysterious world. You had to come into the life of Koku Anyidoho.
Yeah. The man who received an epiphany a few years ago.
Between Dr. Bahomia and Alan Chermanti, who do you think should succeed?
That's the third time you're reading it.
Oh, but I was taught that before you answer any question,
you have to read it.
You must read and understand it.
Okay.
Otherwise, you will fail.
So answer it.
Because understanding the question
this is the
is 90% of answering the question.
You are buying time. Answer it. Alan Cash or Dr. Bahomia?
Dr. Bahomia. The MPP people themselves will decide.
Come on. Come on.
No, the MPP people themselves will decide. They will decide.
Should I answer for you?
The people, they will decide who
should lead them.
Yeah, because they will decide who their flag bearer is. After Nana Akufo-Addo, he's secured his 8 years, is that not it? God willing, he will do his 8 years. Dr. Bahomia is vice. Alan tried it before.
If either of them goes against President Mahama in 2024, who would you vote for?
Actually, I mean, let me just. When I was coming, I actually spoke to the chairman of my council, and because of this thing that we are doing now, and today is his birthday, and he was really
happy birthday to him.
He was really straight on the point that Koku, don't go and say anything that I will get calls that you have destroyed my birthday. It's true, honestly.
Oh, no wonder you stayed off.
Exactly.
That's the topic.
On the council, as a council member, this Alan Chermanti.
I will bring you back on the day when someone is not celebrating their birthday.
That one I'll come. By that time, I would have also consulted the oracles very well. And this mystery question, somebody would have answered it before I come. No, but then, on a serious note, going back to the tweet, I think it's quite obvious that Dr. Bahomia has served his Nana Akufo-Addo very well. That's on the MPP.
Alan is a minister of trade.
Alan who has not rocked any boat. You understand? And so, on that score, they've both been of service to President Akufo-Addo in the government. I haven't heard any scandal from the trade ministry. No. I haven't heard any scandal from the vice president's outfit. So, the MPP people themselves, we wish them well. The Atta Mills Institute to wish them well. Let them take their decision.
You wish the NDC well?
Oh, very well. Extremely so.
You wish President Mahama well?
Everybody, all the President Kufuor, I wish him very well. Because now President Rawlings is gone.
Yes.
So we only have President Kufuor and President Mahama as our former presidents.
Yes.
President Morsi didn't even live to become ex-president. He died,
sadly,
passed in office. So we have President Kufuor, President Mahama. We'll continue to wish them well. And the onus is on President Akufo-Addo to succeed, and we wish him well. Let him succeed.
Samuel Koku Anyidoho, pleasure talking to you on Star Chat.
Pleasure talking to you too, Nana Aba Anamoah, my dear sister.
Please have a bottle of water.
Yes.
I think at some point I almost ruffled your fethers, but please have a bottle of water.
Now this is my token.
To me?
Token of my love to you.
Oh, yay. Your love to me.
What did you just say?
Your love to me.
To the Starr chat for inviting me.
Okay.
So I leave you with this Atta Mills Institute
it's a
key holder.
Okay.
As often as you hold it, do it in remembrance of the Atta Mills Institute.
I'll give it to Francis Aban as programs manager to use it.
To use it, okay.
Yeah.
And this is our calendar. You don't have to like the personalities if you don't, but at least look at know the date of the month and the date. So
and the colors.
Are we in March?
Yes, we are in March.
So February was Rawlings. So March is President Mills.
Right.
So that's also so that you know that at the institute, we are not joking. This is what we are doing. And then, so, this is the key holder.
Thank you very much.
So may it open doors of opportunity.
Amen.
For you.
Amen.
And your team
Amen.
at Starr FM.
Amen.
And may Starr FM and the GH1 group grow out of your challenges.
Amen.
You came meaning well for the system.
Absolutely.
Grow out of your challenges. And let's all help develop Ghana.
And I pray that Koku's tweets will be nicer to everybody. And so that when we ask you questions based on your tweet, you answer them in the future.
I take that in good faith.
Thank you very much for talking to us.
I won't argue about that.
Have a beautiful evening, Koku.
God bless you. Thank you for having me.
You too.
So I can pack my documents.
Yes, please.
And let Koku Baku know that he's not the only one who has documents. I have more documents. I'll challenge you one day.
Right.
At Joy FM studio.
Right.
Starr 103.5 FM. Simply the best.